Hello, Gabriel.
Hello, Martina Ricarda.
This is the orchid that you left in my apartment. And this is blooming now. I wanted to show you that. Do you see that?
Yeah, it's nice how you say it. The orchid that I just left there.
Why? What do you mean?
I mean, in a way, it was like that. Like you didn't really have a choice. Maybe you had a choice, but it was more me just saying, yeah, and I have two orchids and I'm just gonna leave them here, okay? While I was already, like it was in April when I was in your apartment when we were just starting the series, and yeah, I just had them there and I just left them there, and it was pretty cool.
So it was not a present for you?
For me, it was a possibility for you to grow, because you had this I don't even know how to name it. You had something with plants. Like you only had one cactus in your apartment, and you wrote this
Yes.
amazing article where you were looking at your cactus for 20 minutes, I think, every day.
Yes.
And you wrote about the connection that you built with him. And so I thought, okay, maybe if you only have one plant, maybe it's time for a little bit more blooming greens in your house.
Mhm.
That was my thought about. That was my intention.
I just have to think about, because I was talking to a friend about presents, and she said the purpose of a present is fulfilled with the giving of the present, and that that really das hat mich erleichtert. That took a burden from me, because I thought, wow, that's cool, because sometimes you get presents and you don't really know what am I doing with that shit. And if that person comes back and sees that the present isn't there anymore, so a present can also be like a burden. Do you know something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, or like if a child comes to you and says, hey, here, the stone is for you.
Mhm.
And then you say, oh, thank you. And then you have a stone. Like I don't know. When I was moving out, my parents had like heaps and heaps of pictures I painted. And sometimes it was just like scribbled. And yeah, I had to go, or I went through hundreds of papers of creations I did as a child. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Did you ever did you ever get a present where you had that feeling that this is a burden for you, and you don't know, you cannot throw it away, you have to take care of it or do something with it? Did that happen to you?
Yeah, yeah. I had some presents from friends and I could not throw them away. Like there was so much emotional stuff mixed into the present. And so I had so much Schuld.
Guilt?
Hmm?
Guilt?
Guilt. Oh yeah. Thank you. I had so much guilt of throwing it away, so I couldn't throw it away. It was like other people could sense the guilt on the item, and it was like, or like my change in attitude towards the item. It was crazy.
Oh,
Yeah. And it took me years to finally like say, okay, this person, like this gift, I'm gonna like give it away. And then I cleaned it energetically and I gave it to someone else.
yeah. How is it when you are giving a present to someone?
This is so emotional. Presence is so emotional because when I get a present, I have to have joy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have joy. This is my emotional thing. That's why, like usually for Christmas, I say, well, don't give me anything, for years already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't give me anything, because if I don't get anything, I cannot be. I usually I have all I want, And when I don't get anything, I don't have to have joy. And then sometimes people give me stuff, and it's just like, I know it's like this, things are new. I don't want to throw them away, and I don't want them.
Did you ever pretend to have joy, pretend to feel joy, even if you had no joy about the present?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I have a situation when I got a present and I tried to, and I didn't have much joy, but I sensed that it would be appropriate to show much joy.
Yeah.
So I pretended to be very, very joyful, and I was really going to my edge. I could not show more joy. And those persons said, you don't really feel joy. And it was so, I was so verzweifelt. What is verzweifelt? Because I could not pretend more. And it was, yeah, it was a horrible situation.
But like they said it, right? You're not really showing joy. And you didn't really show joy. So
yeah, and they were disappointed. They were disappointed because I was not really having the joy that they expected me to have. They expected me to have joy. So,
and like you asked me about the other way around. When I give presents,
yes,
it's usually that I don't give so many presents because I'm afraid to put other people into situations what they don't like. And I like to give presents when they fit. But this is such a hard skill to know what another person wants, and then to have it there at the right time, so the other person has joy just naturally because they were just waiting for the gift without maybe even knowing it. So I'm very careful with gifts, and yeah, I sometimes I give stuff away, but where I just have the impulse I should do that. That's, I think, the thing when I give gifts, and it's not so much. Could be way more. Yeah. But like, yeah, I have good stories about it, about giving gifts, because I'm like, I have this emotion about getting a gift that I don't like, so I'm very careful about what I give.
And how do you know that the person really felt the joy? How do you know that they didn't pretend?
I sometimes, it seems to me that they pretend, but I don't have any expectation on it. You know, like, I think it's also what expectation how do I, as the gift giver, how do I hold the space while I give the gift? How many expectations?
Say again, please.
When I give you a gift, how do I hold the space for it? Because I'm the person initiating, like, oh, here, like, have this. I'm the person who's creating the space. And what energies do I put into the space? What expectations do I put in? What assumptions about you and about me, and about how this is gonna, like, maybe change our relationship or whatever. Like, it's so much that can be just put into this little here. And so I'm very careful with that moments.
Yeah. I had to think about that with drawing expectations. Perhaps it could be useful if you give a present to someone. Before you do that, you withdraw every expectation and assumption that the other one keeps it, that the other one likes it, that the other one says thank you, or I don't know. Yeah. Withdraw every expectation, and then you are free. And the other one is free also. Free to give it away, or free to eat it up, or free to throw it away, or free to give it back to you.
There are more possibilities. Like, I already negotiated with people, like, would you like me to gift you this? And then it's like a conversation about the gift. And then they can say yes or no, or maybe, or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And
cool, because sometimes it's like a pressure to take it, even if you don't want to take it, but the other one wants to give it to you, so you have to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like someone I'm living with in Mengen, it was his birthday in January. And I asked him, like, what are your expectations on a gift for your birthday? And he told me like he's not expecting much, but it would be nice to get an alcoholic-free beer with a little tie around it.
Really?
Yeah. And so I went into the store and I got an alcoholic-free beer and a lemonade, and I got a little bit of like wrapping things, and I made a little tie on the tops, and I presented it to him, and he laughed out so loud, and he had so much joy because he exactly got what he wanted or what he expected, and he was like, "Oh wow, you really did that!" It was so easy. Like it was so easy to get him what he wanted because I just asked him, "What are your expectations?" And it was a cool space.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Okay. So then have a good week and see you next Monday, Gabriel.
Yes. See you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.